political forum for our state representative race. I want to thank all the candidates for coming out as well. I appreciate your time and everything that you're doing and that you want to be involved, and that's so important. From the Chamber's point of view, all of the questions this morning will be of a business nature, of course. This is part of our responsibility for our membership and the community. We will post pictures on Facebook afterwards. LynnCAM is here. They're going to try and get this up from Monday evening. And of course, the item is here as well, and I believe WBZ News or WGH is here. Thank you so much. Sean, of course the Lynn Journal, my apologies. My apologies, Carrie. Sean Leonard from the item is our moderator this morning, and at the end we will be taking some questions from the audience, and I'll bring the mic to you. But first I would like to introduce the chairman of the board. Drum roll, please. Tasso Nikolakopoulos will take it from here. Thank you.
Good morning, thank you. Welcome, candidates. Brandon, Katerina, and Charlie, welcome. On September 9th, the Democratic primary will decide the state rep seat for the 11th Essex District. The campaign, meet and greets, the door knocking, the debates, the handshakes in Westland and Nahant are coming to an end. Three individuals with three very different views on issues such as education, the economy, job growth, job training, the potential casino, zoning, indexing the gas tax, creating partnerships with businesses and nonprofits throughout the city. All key issues that are relevant to our city and our business community. The Greater Lynn Chamber of Commerce is excited to welcome Sean Leonard, who is our mediator today. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Tasso, and welcome everyone. And I want to thank Leslie and the entire Chamber Board for allowing me to participate this morning. It's always an honor. I've been attending or covering Lynn Chamber events since about 2002, 2003, primarily for the free breakfast. But but you know, it does seem to me, one of my roles at the Item has been to put together the business page, and it really does seem to me in the last 5 or 6 years the Chamber has really found its voice and grown its influence in city issues, be it permitting or zoning or signage, certainly the casinos, and it's been great to see. And the people here at the table, we've had each in for editorial boards, and it's kind of like a colonoscopy. But I have to tell you, they're all not only worthy candidates, but they're just great people. And I had an editorial a couple weeks back saying, you know, it's really too bad that all three couldn't advance to November, but that's just not the way it is. I'm sure they may be happy the race is going to end next Tuesday. But, so the way this is going to work, we have I have about 10 questions. May ask them all, but we want to leave time for questions from the audience. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to respond. And you know, the way this will work, if after any answer another candidate has a direct rebuttal, they can just raise their hand, and I'll acknowledge and give them 30 seconds for a direct rebuttal. And that's the way this will go. And if all goes as planned, we'll get out of here before the item sale is finalized. So, okay, thanks. And I think just randomly, we'll pose the first question to Charlie, and we'll just rotate with who gets to answer first. So with that, let's go right to the first question. We've enjoyed lower gas prices this summer. But last year, for the first time since 1991, the legislature and the governor increased the state's gas tax from 21 cents to 24 cents, and also tied future increases to inflation with automatic adjustments according to the Consumer Price Index. Question 1 on the November ballot seeks to repeal the gas tax linked to the CPI. Should voters repeal the automatic increase? Charlie?
Thank you for the question. My name is Charlie Gallo. I want to first thank the Chamber and thank everyone for being here. I'm a member of the Chamber as a private sector attorney, so it's good to be here with colleagues. And I also have family and friends that I want to recognize at our table in the middle here. I do support the gas tax indexing, and here's why. The gas tax has not been increased for 19 years. 19 years. Our current representative or former representative, Steve Walsh, voted to support that. Senator Tom McGee voted to support that, and I think they act very courageously when they did that. They act courageously because they realized that we need to pay for our roads, we need to pay for our bridges, we need to pay for our transportation, and we cannot wait 19 years to do that again. Understand that the increase is 3 cents and that Massachusetts will continue to have one of the lowest gas taxes in the country. So for that reason, I support the gas tax indexing. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ekaterina Penagitakis Kouranis, and I thank the Lynn Chamber of Commerce for bringing up this democratic debate for everyone to be a part of and hear all of our platform ideas. To the question, I believe the voters should vote yes on repealing the automatic gas tax increase. It's not a matter of whether or not the gas should rise, because this is the tax increase could be reviewed periodically, and it should not be an automatic tax increase. There are several factors why this shouldn't occur. One is that as cars are moving from gas to electric, are we getting a fair share of the taxes from everyone as opposed to just taxing the same the same specific crowd? But we should not have an automatic tax increase. That's basically, and we do need money for our roads, but it's a question of who we're taxing and why.
I'm Brendan Crichton. Thank you again to the Chamber and for everyone being here. I am supportive of tying the gas tax into inflation. I'm proud to work for State Senator Tom McGee, who's the chairman of transportation and who had, our office had co-authored that, and it was great to be a part of that. I think it's so important that we invest in transportation for the economy. I'm pleased to see that a number of pro-business organizations have joined in support of the indexing, and it's really crucial. If you drive down any roads, we're out on the Lynnway today. We've ignored these roads, bridges, and they're unsafe. They're not good for the economy. Tying the gas tax into inflation is important moving forward, and if we were to repeal it, that is $1 billion lost over the next 10 years. So the roads will continue to crumble, and it will hurt the economy. Thank you.
And this question will be posed to Katerina to answer first. As you're all aware, there's a home rule petition from Lynn awaiting legislative approval, which could come in informal session before the end of the year, which would increase the annual compensation for the mayor and the city council. If you were now serving as a state representative, would you work to see this home rule petition is approved?
I would vote against the home rule petition. I'm not against giving the mayor a raise, but the principle and following our charter that any vote to increase the raises should be applied to the next term. And voting on this would be in agreement with those officials promoting their own wages in the same term, where there should be no conflict of interest in this vote. The other question I have is how much of a raise is to be determined, and I believe that that portion didn't go up for review.
Thank you. I would file the home rule petition. I believe that in a city of 90,000 people, that the mayor should be adequately compensated. We want to professionalize the office. We want to encourage people to run. This is comparable to other mayors throughout. And just to be clear, the city council did not raise its salary. We simply combined a stipend along with the salary. It's comparable to the same pay that has been paid in recent history of the council. So I would file it. It gained local approval through a vote of the council and signed by the mayor. And as a legislature, you file that on behalf of your municipality. Thank you.
I oppose the pay hike for the mayor and for the city councilors, and I feel very strongly that right now is the wrong time to be hiking politician pay. Our schools are underfunded by about $11 million this year. The bike police team that was so good in our communities was cut. The library teen employment program was cut. 2% cut on veterans, 2% for police. We have fire stations that are closed down. I think it's the wrong time to be giving politicians a raise, and so I'd vote against it. Councilor Crichton, my friend, supported this as a city councilor, and I think that he was wrong in doing so, and I think that all of us at the table should put our constituents first, put the needs of the community first, and should come out against this pay hike. Just by contrast, as a Lynn School Committee member, we were offered this year an increase in our pension. We were offered full health insurance benefits. 3 of us on the school committee called the city council president, Dan Cahill, and said, take this out of the agenda, this is the wrong time for a raise. So that's a real contrast between us here today. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Can you absolutely?
Just real quickly, in terms of the budget this past year, the city council actually decreased our budget. This has no effect on any of the services that my opponent had just mentioned. And in fact, very supportive of police. My cousin Glenn Dunnigan is here in the front, who was part of that CLT team, and I'm proud to be endorsed by the police as well as the firefighters. And again, no effect on the budget whatsoever.
And Charlie would like 3 seconds.
Thank you. If you double council salaries, which is what happened, and if you raise the mayor's pay by $60,000 a year, and you do this retroactively for a decade, there is an effect. The money is spent on politicians instead of schools, police, or fire. So there is an effect, and it's disingenuous to say there's not.
I just wish quickly to reiterate Charlie's comments. There are imbalances in the budget. The net school spending is underfunded, and there are items in that budget which belong on the city budget, and if that correction was made, then there would be an appropriate consideration into whether or not officials should receive raises. And as part of leadership, I believe officials should take the last benefit to themselves as opposed to correcting the budget to serve the community.
We're now just days away. This question will go to Brendan first. We're now just days away from the scheduled awarding of the sole resort casino license for Greater Boston. Meanwhile, question 3 on the November ballot would repeal the state's 2011 casinos law. What is your position on question 3, and which, if either, of the 2 Greater Boston resort casino proposals do you support?
Thanks, Sean. I'm opposed to the repeal of the casino law, and I'm opposed simply because of the jobs that would be created locally. And you know, I feel like the legislature did its due diligence in making sure that there was a strong mitigation component to this. That means money for our communities, money for our transportation system. And if you look along the waterfront, along the waterfront as well as some of the new GE parcels that are now available, a casino at Suffolk's Down would certainly complement any of our efforts there. And additionally, I think it strengthens the case for the Blue Line to Lynn. When you have such an attraction just miles away, really connecting the New Hampshire border to this casino, I think would be something a private-public partnership could be a part of. So again, I'm supportive of the job, and if I had to pick one, I'm picking Suffolk Downs.
Thank you. I'm against the repeal. I think that this is really a question about jobs. Now look, casinos and gambling, I'm not a fan, and it's not a perfect solution, but we need to look and see what our community needs most, and what our community needs most is economic development and jobs. And I have a record as someone who's supported job training programs. As a Lynn School Committee member, I worked with my colleague John Ford. We opened up Lynn Tech High School at night, and we're training adults who are underemployed or unemployed to do machine shop training. This casino, having casinos nearby will present a similar opportunity where we can train folks from Lynn, folks from Nahant, in areas like hospitality, entertainment, restaurants, so that they're able to get jobs. So having casinos nearby is going to be economically, I think, a good thing for the city of Lynn, for the town of Nahant, and for the 11th Essex District. And so I support them, and I oppose the repeal.
I support the repeal. I think it's the wrong economic model. I believe in economic independence, and I believe this model will take away small business opportunities for those who are in the line of independent work. I work for a large developer, and we worked on a casino in the Bahamas in Nassau, the Atlantis, and the casino, Nassau is pretty small, but considering the job opportunity that it would have given the island, in fact, the Bahamas, Nassau is has the largest murder capital in the world, and the UN is close to categorizing it as close to a combat zone. So there's high drugs, murder rate. I don't believe the casino will bring the type of culture that we need in New England. And if this does get approved by the people, I will work hard to ensure that this model doesn't take money from the poor and give it to a few select rich. we need to spread that economic share among independent businesses.
This question will go to Charlie first. Does the state legislature, in your view, have any authority over whether Partners Healthcare's plan for Union Hospital to convert it to a primarily psychiatric treatment facility comes to fruition?
Thank you. Direct authority, no, but certainly has influence and should have influence, and here's how. First of all, there'll be a determination of need filed to determine what partners can or can't offer, whether they can change their use for Union Hospital. Secondly, if you're elected to this office, you gain a bully pulpit, that you can talk to the media, that you can bring parties together to the table to talk about the needs, in Lynn and in Nahat about having a hospital. And I feel very strongly that Lynn needs a full service hospital, that it's not enough that we have just an emergency room, because think about it. Sometimes you get checked into the emergency room and you're transported up to cardiac or ICU or another unit. That transport should be an elevator or a hallway. It shouldn't be a 30-minute drive in an ambulance from Lynn to Salem Hospital. My grandmother is here sitting at the center table, my nanny, Lorraine, who lives in Kings Lynn. Kings Lynn is in West Lynn. That would be a half-hour drive, at least, to Salem Hospital on a time of traffic. I don't want her to go through that, nor do I want any other citizen, senior citizen, young person, or family to have to face that. So we need to work as state representative to be sure that we preserve full-service hospitals for Lynn.
I will do everything in my power to ensure that Union Hospital remains as a full-service hospital, an acute care hospital for the region. I filed an 85-page antitrust complaint to the Department of Justice in the federal and the state level. And as a state legislator, I would enforce that the Attorney General open up an investigation on those antitrust matters. I will be talking later on about what those points are. And we need to do everything we can, not only to Lynn deserves. It'll be one of the largest cities in the U.S. without a full-service hospital. We need the hospital for healthcare, but also as a notion for taking a stand to monopoly. Partners is becoming a monopoly, and the competition that will be created so they're trying to knock out smaller hospitals, absorbing services in the South Shore, and there's plan attacks to also expand in the North Shore, and so this comes into the antitrust complaint that I really can't go into details at the moment, but I will talk about it soon and shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. A city of 90,000 people needs a full-service hospital. I fought for that both at the local and state level. I've been to numerous city meetings. I've testified in front of the Department of Public Health. And I also drafted, through Senator McGee's office, a number of budget amendments this past year that would have given more local control and also more teeth in the DPH regulations. This is really an issue across the state, we found out, where organizations like Partners are really taking advantage of our communities. And we need to stand up against that. Thank you.
This question will go to Katerina first. The Lynn Ferry has been a tremendous success. I was a skeptic early on, and I was wrong. And that's great. Would you like to see that service extended? And with respect to transportation improvements for Lynn, what ideas do you have moving forward?
Thank you. I would like to see the ferry expanded, and I also would like to see small businesses around the ferry, and I'd like to see an extension of the subway to Lynn. Also, green pathways. I'd like to see Bike to the Sea. It's a passive recreational trail. This will bring people from Metro Boston into Lynn. And I'd also like to see a connection between Revere Beach and Lynn Shore Drive. The Lynnway is actually a parkway. And to emphasize on promoting the pocket parks and businesses along the Lynnway, and attracting people from Revere Beach along the Essex Heritage Trails. Lynn could also be a part of an entrance, not only a gateway community for tourists, but to the Lynnway I see as the American Dream Highway, where businesses are promoted. So to integrate our infrastructure with where our businesses are located and promote recreation as well, I think that'll be a win-win for Lynn.
Thank you. John, I have to admit, I was first a skeptic as well. I started Senator McGee in 2005, and I learned early on that the guy loves ferries, and he was always talking about it, and I didn't quite get the vision at first, but over the past 9 years, working closely with him, with EDIC, with the Seaport Advisory Council, with the governor, we've really been able to build the case for it, establish a vision, and get the funding, as well as now the operations in place. We have a 2-year pilot program now specifically for commuters, but we really are hearing loud and clear that there's a greater demand. So we're hoping that we've demonstrated that the ridership is there and that the private operator will be willing to do additional trips, additional times. We have money that we've pursued also through federal.
Because we need a reason to build a road or to build a rail. We're not going to build a road or build a rail if there's no destination at the end. So you've got to look at development first, and then transportation will follow. And I support anything, whether it's a ferry, the connector, whether it's the Blue Line, to bring people from outside of the city of Lynn to Lynn to spend their money here and to promote tax growth here and to promote jobs here in Lynn and also in Nahant. Thank you.
I don't think we need a business to regulate if we need a subway or not. There's a specific formula in planning where transportation needs to be provided for a certain density, and Lynn meets those requirements. But speaking as to what we need, what I would like to see develop on the waterfront, I've seen plans in the past, and it's kind of interesting you brought up the Olympics, that the Patriots were interested in putting a stadium on the Lynnway, which would have brought the Blue Line to Lynn, and that's an interesting notion. And I would, as I mentioned before, I'd like to see the existing businesses be in pockets, also with pocket parks, and also I'd like to see a venue, entertainment venue brought to the Lynnway, and also with Hollywood here, it could be an opportunity to talk to the producers that come into Lynn to say, hey, why don't we have a studio space for you in Lynn and create, the Lynn. We're in LA, so Lynn area, Hollywood.
I'm very supportive of the mixed-use vision that we laid out along our waterfront. I was proud to be a part of the Waterfront Master Plan Steering Committee, and I really think having residential space on the upper floors and office space, and then commercial on the first floors with that access, public access along a boardwalk, and I think to Tasso's question in terms of the GE site now, the old former gear plant, so much land over there, it's right on, it has its own commuter rail stop already. So it's really primed for that transit-oriented development, and we're starting to see the state government really invest funds in communities like Lynn for that specific purpose. So we're very excited about the possibilities down there.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mayor?
I don't have a question. I just, after being here, I just turned 88 years of age, and 68 years ago, I was knocking on doors. I was knocking on doors as these three people have been doing for months and months. And sitting here listening today, I want to say this: regardless of which candidate wins, the city is going to be the winner, because these people have prepared themselves. They know what the city needs. They're interested in going around and trying to get the support of people and getting people interested in what happens in the city. So we cannot lose in the city, regardless of which candidate wins here. We all have our favorites, but whoever wins will be an asset to the city of Lynn, and I congratulate them for taking their time and their efforts and their talents and giving us the opportunity to make the selection that we will.
So Mayor Costin will not be a write-in candidate in November. Leslie?
We've talked about tourism. There's been talk about it for years. You really can't have tourism without a hotel. You can't. I mean, you can, but it really helps to have a hotel. And certainly with Emily Ruddock spearheading the arts and cultural part of it, Jamie Marsh working on the Lynn Auditorium and all the entertainment there, there's definitely the buzz about Lynn being a destination, but the hotel is key. The convention part of it, the function room, etc. What are your thoughts about that? Where do you think who should Lynn be talking to, and what do you know? if we don't know something.
Thank you for the question, Leslie. I agree completely. I hope to see a hotel as part of the new waterfront, the development that's going on down there. I think a hotel paired with more entertainment venues, as well as businesses, as well as residential down there, will really give a boom to Lynn. And that's a way that we can help the economy, but it's not the only way. So if I may add, in Boston right now, there's something going on to really help small businesses, which is free Wi-Fi. So we need to bring in new businesses, but we can't forget about the existing businesses. So we need to do things like offer Wi-Fi access for small businesses at little to no cost, which really help existing businesses continue to develop. We also need to make sure that our schools are doing the best they can, and I'm the candidate that has a record when it comes to education. In my 2 terms on the school committee, we've taken our schools in Lynn out of failing status into improvement status, and we've put shovels in the ground for the first new school in 15 years. We also need to look at issues like crime and bring back bike police. Those are things that we need to do to support existing businesses. So it's really a 2-part question. How do we bring in new businesses, but also not forget about everybody who's sitting here at the table who has an existing business in Lynn?
I would love to see a hotel in Lynn. I work for a hotel developer. He bought the rundown Windermere Island Club in the Bahamas, where Prince Charles and Princess Diane went on their honeymoon. So he had a vision. He saw a rundown old hotel, and the vision was to renovate it, make it attractive. And I know how to make the area attractive to promote hospitality, entertainment, and small businesses. I'd also like to see a mix of the type of hospitality use. I certainly would encourage a large hospitality group and smaller boutique hotels as well, because I believe Lynn has in the North Shore, we can carry both images for providing customized service and a labeled brand. And I think Lynn has the opportunity. We just need to improve on the image into the gateway. And so with my design skills, I have ideas on how to make this attractive for developers.
Certainly supportive of a hotel along the waterfront. That was part of the plan and vision that we had laid out. I certainly think there's a demand for it, and really, if you take a look at the transit options to get people into Boston, to get our visitors around with the ferry and the commuter rail right there. Additionally, our vision for the ferry exceeds just the commuter end of it, and I think north of Boston, we don't have access to the Boston Harbor Islands. There's been major investments in the Boston Harbor Islands over the past decade, and I think that would be a draw for visitors as well. So certainly supportive of a hotel, and I think to get that done, we need to reach out to really everybody we can. I think being at the State House for the past 9 years and knowing how the building works, I can work with fellow legislators, the administration, and business leaders really throughout the Commonwealth to show them the potential that we have, not only for hotels for development, but really economic development throughout the land.
Thank you. If there are no other questions, we'll go to 90-second closings. And Brendan, why don't you hold up the microphone? We'll start with you. We'll go right down the line. Your floor.
Thank you. The reason I first got into public service was simply to help my community and to help it reach its full potential. And for the last 9 years, I've been proud to do just that, working with State Senator Tom McGee. I've had an opportunity to really learn from the best in a whole wide range of areas, including local and constituents, budgetary, legislative. The State House has really been a great experience. I was able to get my master's degree in public administration. I ran for the city council and been on there for the past 4.5 years. And I think most importantly, I met my wife in the State House. She put up with 2 campaigns in the past year, so honey, thank you very much. My focus has always been on the people that I represent and making sure that government is working for them. And I think the best way to expand our services is through creating jobs and opportunities. And that's why my focus has been on education, infrastructure investment, as well as economic development, and I have a proven track record in all 3 of those areas. I think both at the state and local level, that experience really separates me. I'm very excited to continue this job, and I ask for any of the West London hot voters that are in the room, I ask for your vote, respectfully ask for your vote on Tuesday, September 9th. And I really want to say thank you again to Sean, the Chamber, everybody here for this great, my opponents for this great discussion, LynnCAM, the Porthole. Thank you very much, this was great.
Thank you. District 11 citizens have a choice to select a truly independent representative. The three of us do have economics and job and education and good quality of life to live with citizens in mind. I differ in that I want to bring all the perspectives to the table with responsible and creative planning, so we're not in the typical lockstep standards, status quo that we've learned to just accept. With my Greek American heritage background, deeply rooted in community, family, and economic independence, I wish to see more families prosper with independent business models. I pledge to have constituent service responsibility, and I wish to have an office open in the district so the people would be able to, instead of having to go to the Beacon Hill in Boston, they can easily come in my office in the district, and this is the people's seat, and I'm just inviting all the people to the table. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the Chamber, to the Porthole, and especially thank you to everyone who's in the audience today or watching at home. You should be commended for being informed voters. My name's Charlie Gallo, and I'm running because of how deeply I care about this community, because I have the experience that it requires to move forward, and I'm the only candidate who brings to the table both public and private sector experience, and I'm running because I have the work ethic that this district needs. I work as a private sector attorney. I represent senior citizens and retirees and their family. I've done that on the private sector side. On the public sector side, 2 terms as a Lynn School Committee member, in which time we've turned our schools around, we're building a new school, and that's so important for residences, but also for businesses, because that drives your property values, because that's your future business owners, because it's your future business employees. Working hard is something I've become known for. A little bit about my background. I was the first in my family to go to college. After that, I went to law school, and I did it going to work 9 to 5 every day and then working 6 to 10. So hard work is something that working 9 to 5 every day, then going to class from 6 to 10 at night. Working hard is something that was bred into me, and it's what I'm here to offer you as your next state representative. So on Tuesday, September 9th, I respectfully ask that you vote for me, Charlie Gallo, for state representative, and I thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you. One more hand for the candidates.